Benny had been there that day, or that he'd ever had a sister to begin with. That he'd ever had a chubby, squiggle-headed baby girl following him around the house. That she'd ever cheered him on at the national meets. That he'd ever heard her voice sailing across the auditorium as he closed his hand around his doctoral diploma. That he'd ever not felt the way he does right now, orphaned and pissed as hell. Benny. Her mother's attorney opens the door, and Benny looks past him, half expecting to see her ma sitting in the room. But it's only Benny and Byron now, and Byron won't even look at her. The lawyer is saying something about a message from their mother, but Benny can't concentrate. She's still looking at Byron, at the bits of gray in his hair that didn't used to be there. What's with the pushing, anyway? The man is 45 years old, not 10. In all these years, her big brother has never shoved her, never hit her, not even when she was little and tended to pounce and bite like a puppy. Benny's first memory of Byron. They are sitting on the couch. She is settled under her brother's arm, and Byron is reciting adventure stories to her from a book. His feet can already touch the floor. Byron stops to fluff Benny's hair with his fingers, to pull on her earlobes, to pinch her nostrils shut, to tickle her until she is breathless with laughter, until she is dying of happiness. The message. Their mother has left them a message, the lawyer says. The lawyer's name is Mr. Mitch. He's talking to Byron and Benny as though he's known them all their lives, though Byron can only recall meeting him one other time, when his ma needed help getting around town after her accident last winter, the one his friend Cable insisted wasn't an accident. Byron walked his mother up to Mr. Mitch's office and went back outside to wait for her in the car. He was sitting there watching some kids skateboard down the broad, buff-toned sidewalks between one high-end chain store and the next when a police officer rapped on his side window. This kind of thing had happened to Byron so often over the course of his adult life that sometimes he forgot to be nervous. But most times, whenever he was approached or pulled over by an officer, he slid down into that space between one heartbeat and the next, where he could hear his blood crashing through his body, a waterfall carrying centuries of history with it, threatening to wipe out the ground on which he stood. His research, his books and social media following, the speaking engagements, the scholarship he wanted to fund, all of it could be gone in a split second of misunderstanding. Only later, after the officer had opened the trunk of his patrol car and come back with a copy of Byron's latest book, could he have an autograph? Did it occur to Byron that a grown man of any color, sitting alone in a car, watching pre-adolescents skateboard up and down the sidewalk, could elicit a reasonable degree of suspicion? All right, he could see that. It wasn't always about him being a black man, though mostly it was. "Let me just warn you," Mr. Mitch is saying now, "about your mother. You need to be prepared." Prepared? Prepared for what? Their mother is already gone. His ma. He doesn't see how anything after that is going to make much of a difference. B&B. There's an entire file box labeled Estate of Eleanor Bennett. Mr. Mitch pulls out a brown paper envelope with their mother's handwriting on it and puts it on the desk in front of Byron. Benny shifts her seat closer to Byron's and leans in to look. Byron removes his hand, but leaves the packet where Benny can see it. Their ma has addressed the envelope to B&B, the moniker she liked to use when